Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Disco Elysium, where we do have some detective work to do. We probably got to go deal with that body, but actually I think the first thing we should do right now, right this second, is get to the whirling before Gart goes to bed, which might happen, and make sure that he knows where we got the money. Let's pay up and make it so that I'm allowed to go sleep in that horrible trashed bed instead of having to sleep on a bench somewhere. Right, if we ended up sleeping outdoors, Kuno would mess with us, right? That's the thing that would absolutely 100% for certain happen, and it's just not, it's not something I'm interested in. Do we have to... Okay, still forcing the game to load the interiors. Hey Gart, I got the money, don't ask me how.
Can I help you?
Yeah, about that money I owe. I have your money. I'm not going to show him my giant novelty check, that is my check. We are going to go cash that, though. He glares at you suspiciously. Well, I should not... I should not say, I hope you choke on it. Now that the game has called me the sorry cop, even though I definitely was apologizing to people and it's a 100% appropriate descriptor, I'm really self-conscious about apologizing now, which kind of makes me not want to say this, but you know what? I was a real asshole and I destroyed that room. No, we should apologize. It is appropriate to apologize in this situation. Here it is. I'm sorry for the trouble. Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. He takes out his keychain and fiddles with the mechanism behind the counter. The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 2100 tomorrow. Please pay for each night in advance, starting tomorrow, 20 real per night. Absolutely, absolutely doable. Oh, Kim's going to take probably the room next to us, I'm guessing. Of course. He takes the money and hands him a keyring. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. That's probably less true than it used to be. Anything else I can do for you? I'm gonna try to lay off the alcohol for a little while. Just, on account of everything that's happened. Alright, let's also, very quickly here, try to run down to Frit. I don't have any idea when Frit closes. So if we're going to cash this check, we should do it with the quickness. And then we actually have, money enough that we could buy stuff if we had to buy stuff. And I feel like we're making some actual real headway. As long as that body is still there. So why do I have... Oh, right. I do have some drugs that I could take. That we probably should take, right? Because, that... I mean, not necessarily right this second. But we should definitely use when we need them. So +1 psyche is going to increase our empathy. So we might want to take another crack at those empathy checks. Character is definitely a drug guy. That we don't need to worry about just yet. The smoker on the balcony after 2100, we were told that today was not going to work, right? Tuesday after 2100 is the time that we should come back. So I guess... Well, hold on. Let's not worry about quests. For right now, I just said a thing that I thought we should do. Let's just go do that thing. Then we'll worry about other stuff afterward. Wait a minute, did I dig through this garbage can? Because I definitely should. Look at that. Free magnesium. You know how I feel about the magnesium. Oh, Frit's already closed, I guess? Alright, well, we'll cash that check later then. So we do, in fact, have a skill point available. Part of me wants to spend it to unlock another slot in the thought catalog and jam in magnesium-based life form. Rigorous self... I'm also very curious about what will come out of rigorous self-critique. Do we want to do that, or do we want to put the point into empathy to unlock those empathy checks, and then try them again while we're very high? Because, it might be a good thing. I'm trying to remember, what else was important that I wanted to do? I did want to try to get that... Is this that check? I wanted to try to get that paranormal investigation going. Is that a drama check? We don't have a lot of other reason to put points into drama, except that I think it really does fit the character. But so does the empathy thing. thought catalog bonuses are like permanent upgrades, so the longer you have them, the better it is. And it may well be the case that rigorous self-critique ends with us gaining empathy anyway. I think I'm gonna do this. Let's unlock another slot in the thought catalog. And start really thinking about that rigorous self-critique. I am also totally into the magnesium-based life form, especially now that we've just found more magnesium. But I'm curious where this will go. Let's internalize this idea. The game's trying to use humiliating language for it, but like, honestly, rigorous self-critique is a good thing. And then we have our sick t-shirt, but I probably shouldn't put it on. Yo, it does extremely rule. I am way too old for this shirt. Okay, the body. The body, and then we'll interact with some other stuff. We'll ask Kim about the details of the case. Like we have a bunch of stuff to do that I was putting off until we had solved the whirling issue. And now that we've done that, I think we can explore some more details of the case. Boy, he was pretty unceremonious about this, huh? He totally did the thing I thought he was going to do. The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid to one side. Well, it's down. I don't find this particularly beautiful. Wow, that was a lot of experience. Okay, we have that empathy skill point right now. Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. The lieutenant nods approvingly. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy. He covers his nose and lists 1. Investigation of the scene, 2. Initial examination of the victim, 3. Field autopsy, 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We are on number 3. The RCM's 4-phase murder scene processing manual. The fuck are they on about? Cop's gonna cut his shit up. Yeah, don't we have someone else to cut his shit up? I'm not even quoting her correctly. Because, like, I don't think either one of us is qualified for this. It's not about cutting, he squints at the corpse. And no, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain, from autopsy to cleanup, to social work. So we're detectives in, like, the Law and Order sense, where we just do all of this stuff, despite not being trained for almost any of it. Yeah, okay, I do feel like a detective. You are. Your station would not have assigned you on this case if you weren't. Now, the lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath. Okay, we should not try to remove the dead man's boots in front of Kim. We know that. What exactly is a field autopsy? Come on, officer. He pulls out a pair of latex gloves. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them. He knows that I don't have my memory, so I assume what he's doing here is he's trying to, like, coax me into, coax some of it back to my mind. Okay, what you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano Corpus Mundi is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 signal Epuis de Sang to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea. Okay, do you have another pair of gloves? I mean, I have my own gloves, but I would love to collect more gloves. Unfortunately, no. Well, I have these gardening gloves. Maybe they're enough. Better than nothing. The lieutenant looks at the gloves. Tell you what, I perform the anatomical side of things while you take notes. Okay, I could do that. We just fill this in, right? That's right, he nods. Okay. Let's open our ledger at the field autopsy form. I'm assuming that there's not going to be any new information to glean from the dead man, since I was really just talking to the inside of my own head anyway. The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with... Okay, 1, assistant. That's me. Right, Raphael Ambrosius Cousteau, because that is my name. The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings. It just lies there. The next box says, coroner's case number. That's the number. KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 is Precinct 57. followed by the date and the time of arrival on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you. That's fair. He is well within his right to take over control of this case. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials. I suspect, but do not know. No, I'm fine handing this case over to Kim. I have well and truly fucked it. He is in control now. Next, name. Hey, this is going to be a tough one. Not applicable. Well, that's probably not totally right. Next, date of birth. Then age. The man corrects his glasses. Roughly 50? Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side. I'm going to write roughly 42. Kim nods. Okay. 6. Race. Mondial. Subgroup Occidental. As per your observation. That's true, I did observe that. The pudgy mess looks neither Mondial nor Occidental. I mean, it doesn't even look human anymore. The next line says, as you read it, you think that leaves out dark-haired Meska, Sao, Saramirizan, Kedriatic. Lighter-skinned Occidental means this man could be Vespertine, Orangese, Messinian. Those 3 are on the table. A solid guess, Mr. Racial Profiler. You know, my encyclopedia skill is just high enough that I can't keep it out of my head, apparently. Alright, 7. Sex. And Kuno S shouts fucky fucky, because I said the word sex out loud. Wonderful. Male. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I am not going to write fucky fucky or pig's gonna have sex. I'm gonna do a good job, because right now I'm working for Kim. Yeah, I think that you could hear me wavering a little bit on that, but no, I think we're gonna try to do Kim's job Kim's way. Nor does he look male with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face. Alright, date of death. Still going with March 4th, 51. What else? He looks over your shoulder. Body identified by is non-applicable. Case number is the same as the coroner's case. He listens, motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. It does seem like we should maybe loosen that, huh? Only 1 box remains. Evidence of treatment. None. At least, not after the initial examination. Yeah, I agree. Lividity pointed to a lynching. Then again, the right lividity is easy to produce if you know what you're doing. He places his hand on the dead man's chest as if in preparation. That's an interesting point. I guess I didn't really consider that the hanging part might have been staged to cover up something else that happened. Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath, ecclesiastic, religious in nature. A holdout from pre-Delorian burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform, then... Somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed. What? Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette ball-like against the window. Outside, Grand Couronne. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Torson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. So, Esprit de Corps is described as the Kopgeist, right? Our connection to the Force. I guess it's maybe because this skill is quite low for us. I didn't realize, this has not happened to us before, I didn't realize that it was sometimes going to give us just like psychic visions of what other police are doing right at this moment. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH 42 deceased persons found today. 42 stations of breath. We should start the postmortem. The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why. Okay, external examination. Summary. Clothes, he begins. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babardine, I think. Let's see. He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label. See, it's happening! Babardine, yes. Inexpensive. Size medium, color white. The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid. They really want to see two police officers have sex with a corpse for some reason. Listen, when I was a kid, I was a troublemaker, for sure. But this is not something I was ever thinking like, oh man, I sure hope I get to see some police bang a dead guy. I don't know, I guess it's a different time. Kids today. The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They're fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing. It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire, if you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to. You have deserved them more than anyone else. I do agree basically with that sentiment. Here's a question. Do I want to wear these, given what the inside of them is going to be like? I'm going to... As much as I was saying that we're going to do Kim's job Kim's way, I'm going to leave the boots off the thing. And am I going to get them, though? Patience. After the autopsy, before the body is taken away, there will be a window of opportunity after the lieutenant has gone to sleep. I hope this has helped you, my liege. I am a little concerned about Kim finding out that I omitted the boots. Like, at some point, the boots are going to be gone. Maybe Kim will never see the body again, but I'm just real worried about this coming back to me in a way that Kim knows that I stole these boots from this dead body. The boot has a serial number. He twists the dead man's foot. It's that serial number. Lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposely concealed by the design. We do not, in fact, write it down. Tattoos. He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body. The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. Photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow, length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. He produces a measuring tape. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good, ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown, distribution consistent with age. He kneels in to get a better look. The deceased had male-pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short. I don't think we should touch the corpse's hair before moving on. I'm just going to write that down. Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem, low velocity. Fucking low velocity and then a racial slur. Great. Thanks, Kuno. The kid explodes. You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Kuno, I saw you throw those. It was not. The lieutenant pays no heed. He is clearly used to getting talked about a certain way. I don't know if I'd be able to put up with it the way he does. In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. I am not going to amend for high velocity. Ligature mark. The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut, which we knew already, so I don't know why he even tried. The steel wiring, he concedes, breathless. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark. Okay, well, yeah, I could use my chain cutters. Oh yeah, I'm prepared, man. I got this. Now, that's maybe not the right way to put it, though. I should not be petting the chain cutters, obviously, in front of him. Well, it's a good thing we got these chain cutters. Always good to think ahead. Now, he points to the rope, squeezing the dead man's neck. We need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can. My pig is gonna fuck his head off. Kuno, first of all, needs to learn some verbs, and secondly, since when am I your pig? Come on now. No, he ain't, Celix blase. Your pig's a boring fuck. We should maybe be able to do this. I'm gonna examine this for a second here. Look for a good spot to cut. I'm hoping we can get ourselves a little bit of a bonus on this check. The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread, rising from the yeast. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose. That was a pretty damn good bonus. And we just barely made it, so we're getting good value out of our motorics being high here. Okay, I think an 8 would have passed the check anyway, right? It was 42%, so that would be an 8. After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow. And snap, the knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck, and the dark red ligature mark around it. The lieutenant kneels closer, running his finger along the dark red groove, until there's a gap. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact. He presses down on it. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact. Genitalia. He pulls down the man's underpants. Now it's gonna happen! See! I fucking knew it! This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible, and I'm going to follow his lead on that. Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Let's just write it down to move on. Back is symmetrical and intact. He struggles to turn the corpse on his side. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin. From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more, decades. Dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty. You know what? This is helpful. I'm going to offer this. Hey, this scarring's extensive, way more than a law official's. He nods. We have a real museum here, of battles, wars. Last item, hands. He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. Do I need to get involved here? Is it helpful for me to get involved here? The thing is, I don't want to seem to Kim like I'm suggesting that he's not able to do a thorough job himself, but he also doesn't have the best eyesight in the world. I'm going to pick up the hand. Maybe that's a good reason I should have inspected the guy's genitals, but I really didn't want to have 2 of us with our, Maybe I shouldn't let Kuno push me around in this way. The hand is surprisingly heavy to lift, filled with decay liquids. Feels as though it could explode if squeezed harder. You're suddenly repulsed, so much so you feel compelled to drop it. And sadly, I do not have a very high volition skill. Hands are clean, the lieutenant says, as 5 cold, sausage-like fingers slip from your hand. No sign of injury from struggling. I wonder if there was a passive volition check there. Were we expecting any? I mean, yeah, right? I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, the stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Because we suspect that he got, jumped by a bunch of dudes, so there could be struggle indicators. Ooh. He turns to the side to breathe. It's not enough. He buries his face in the sleeve of his jacket. You hear a muffled voice. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? Unfortunately, here comes the internal examination. Central nervous system, he says, and then concludes abruptly. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system? Well, shit, let's open him up and find out. Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story. Do I want to get dramatic with this moment? I mean, it could help us determine something, right? There's something there about, reconstruction of events. Kim, if I may add the moral of the story. What would that be? He looks at you inquisitively. The dead man looks too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story. The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply. The lieutenant grins. I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Hey, he smiled. That worked out. Okay, I'll just write NA then. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. He gets close to the mouth hole, eyes squinting from the stench. Not injury-related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone, let's see. With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it gently. A rotting smell erupts from his mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night. That's... And Kuno S shouts, "Yeah, jack that fucker off," because she has no idea how jacking off works. "The hyoid bone is fractured," he says after a while. "The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact, unremarkable." Back hunched, as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. Respiratory system. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used. Oral cavity shows no lesions. Victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in the mucose of the lips and the mouth. Yeah, sure, take a look. No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there, sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight into his mouth. I should maybe not do that then. The option is here to look deeper inside, but we have poor volition and honestly, doesn't seem like a very strong stomach. I'm just gonna write that down then. He wipes his brow. Hepatobiliary, not applicable. Why? Don't we have anything? I do not know what that word means. He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust. Are you a hepatobiliary expert? I don't think so. Well, neither am I. And that's it. That's it. Okay, I agree with him. Same for toxicology and serology, not applicable. Yep. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood is gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with a hanging. Gastrointestinal. He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around. To the ground, the pool of feces there. Yeah, this'll do. Then he touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen, briefly, and says, digested semi-solid food in stomach, voila. I'm gonna, I'm gonna omit the voila. Probably he doesn't mean for me to write that down. What's next on the list? Description of injuries. Hey, we're almost done. Let's see. He tilts his head. We have bite marks, contusions on head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one, too. Be thorough if you want maximum results. Why is this a reaction speed check? Okay, what about the injuries we have inflicted? Should we write those down? Oh? He looks incredulous. So, we inflicted them. Okay, yes, fine. The injuries I inflicted. Okay, so there's a spin-stabilized musician from a Kill A990 muzzleloader lodged in his lung. There's a pause. I don't think we should mention it. Better not to muddy the waters. Should we not mention it, though? Like, processing is gonna... I guess maybe it's the case that nobody else is actually going to examine the body. Like, processing will take the body somewhere to do with it whatever is done with bodies, but... I mean, they don't have detectives field autopsying people if there's a medical examiner, right? So, I guess we can. Alright, so back to injuries. I'm going to not press this point. 1. Bite marks. He nods. Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the bodies. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer? Beneath the description, there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. That seems non-fatal, post-mortem. Agreed. Next injury. Contusions. So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. A perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem. At maximum velocity, fucko! Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity. Do not write that part down. Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description of injury, 2 boxes. Yeah, I think these are all post-mortem. Right, next, ligature mark. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. Hyoid bone is fractured, but cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark 1 centimeter, no signs of clawing on the neck. Below the note, the 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side, awaiting your judgment. The ring is around his neck is visible. That's not exactly the way they meant to write that. My reaction speed tempts me to think for a moment and not rush. So the way that this sequence is constructed, where it's asking me to mark which wound is the fatal one, certainly suggests that the ligature, that the hanging is not responsible for his death. Based on the footprints and stuff, we suspect that he was carried, not marched, to the hanging. Based on the fact that there's no claw marks, he wasn't walked there. He's not conscious when they're hanged, right? Because he would have tried to get the thing around his neck, probably. But we have no evidence of any other kind of fatal injury. It's possible that he was bludgeoned to death in some way, and then Kuno made it difficult to tell that there was a fatal bludgeon mark by adding a bunch of other bludgeon marks. And it's also possible that Kuno, as someone that Kim recognizes as being in some way affiliated with the Dockworkers Union, was set here to do this for that exact reason, right? It might not just be some shitty kid throwing rocks at a corpse. It might be like he was told to go down there and throw some rocks at that corpse. We still don't know what happened. I'd feel so much more comfortable checking this box if we had any kind of, like, witness statements. But again, I'm drawing a lot here from the structure of this segment, suggesting that there might be a reason not to call this the fatal injury. And maybe I'm reading into this things that are not actually present. Although a certain kind of paranoia and resistance to the obvious story is definitely in keeping with what I see as our character's personality. I'm actually very torn here. I really, part of me really wants to write non-fatal post-mortem. So what's the alternate? The alternate version of events isn't really meaningfully different, though, right? We suspect from testimony that there was some kind of fight that occurred. Maybe he was killed in the fight, but like, does it matter whether he was killed by some guys beating him up and then hanging his unconscious body, or if they killed him by beating him up and then hanged the dead body? Like, are those things meaningfully different? I'm going to put down that this was the fatal injury. It sure seems like it was the fatal injury. I think what we're reading here is that he was just hanged while unconscious. Because, like, there's hemorrhaging on the skin. I guess I don't know enough about medicine. I don't know enough about investigating corpses, I guess, is the real thing. It's possible that all of these injuries are consistent with somebody who was hanged shortly after death, but I'm not trained for this, man. Opinion, fatal injury, that's what I'm going to write. That's it. He cracks an uneasy smile. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned, but it's a start. Ah, that was another huge block of XP. He produces a small plastic roll from his jacket, a body bag. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. First, how did it go? Well, we established probable cause of death. Some would say that's the goal of an autopsy. Then, given the state of decay here, I consider establishing the victim's ethnicity a minor success. What else? We were thorough with the list of injuries, too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy. Oh yeah, well done, Master Detective. Maybe a drink's in order. So what now? Well, I need a copy of that autopsy form, then I will drive him to Fallberg. So we give him a copy of the autopsy pages for processing. He looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again. He's thinking, did I miss something? You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something. So we established probable cause, which gives us a penalty to this check, which means we got it wrong. If I had said that last injury was non-fatal, I bet it would have been a positive on this check. Stop wasting time. You're smart. I guess we maybe should have been less thorough, or maybe I wouldn't have taken that penalty if we'd gotten the body down sooner. It spent an awful lot of time in that tree. Tell me something, dead man. Okay, I was kind of wondering if post-investigation we might have something else to say. We will not try to remove his boots. I guess let's just roll it. No sense in not going for it, right? Search the body one more time, thoroughly. Hey, what a surprise. You run your hands over the victim's cold body. His limbs, his torso with its swollen organs. Maybe you should be more thorough. Well, I didn't look in his pants before. You pull down his breeches. Marbling is present around the crotch. The penis is shrunk, crawling halfway back inside him. There is nothing mysterious or noteworthy here. And here comes the peanut gallery. Yep. Do you think we missed something? Yeah, there's something we're not seeing. Okay, well, we're in livor mortis here. He's disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast. Okay, well, I bet the Whirling has a great big refrigerator. Where do we find a fridge for the body? It would have to be industrial in size. Let's start by asking Gart at the Whirling and Rags, and the Frit store down by the gates. If they don't know, his voice trails off, and his gaze settles on Kuno. But only if all else fails. Fuck are you looking at? You want a piece of the Kuno? Want to get fucked? Only if all else fails. Kuno looks like he gets around, knows Martinez, and it's fridges too, probably. Or, remember the buttons on that intercom over there? On the side of the building next to the Whirling? One was for Revachol Ice City. Perhaps it's a clue. Yeah, let's hurry then. This is one task we cannot sideline. With every hour, whatever we're looking for will become harder to find. It is a little bit of a shame that it's after midnight. Kuno's fucking electricity. Well, he's desperate to fuck something. Listen, kid, if you want to fuck some electricity, that's something I think I could help you with. It couldn't hurt, right? Alright, an old call box with a matrix of push buttons. East Delta Commerce Center. This must be the name of the doomed commercial area. Hey, we found it. Revachol Ice City. I mean, it's after midnight, but I guess we should buzz. Every hour counts, right? Unsurprisingly, no one answers the doorbell. Maybe now that I've given Garth the money I owed him, maybe he'll be friendly to us. Friendly enough, anyway. And he's got 2 police officers staying at his little hostel, so if he wants to keep our business, he can help out with the investigation. Also, we do have 2 skill points now. I'd like to put one of them into empathy, I think, but I don't really know what to do with the other one. Maybe with the other one we could open up another thought catalog slot and get this magnesium-based lifeform thing going. I actually kind of like that idea. Let's do it. Who needs skills when you can have very strange thoughts? Plus, that one's nice and fast. Is Gart still up? He is. It looks like the place is really quieted down.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I seem to be in need of a fridge. I'm a little worried. I think we saw that the fridge in the kitchen is not one of those industrial walk-in types. Yes, yes, for the dead body. You want to put a dead corpse into my fridge, right? Correct him. No, we want to put a very important dead body into your fridge. I don't care. You're not putting a dead body into my fridge. Well, this is probably correct, but I'm going to go ahead and ask why, because maybe he'll give me something I can use as leverage. Because this is a culinary establishment, not a morgue. I can't believe you even asked me. I am pretty desperate. Well, it would only be for a... Lieutenant, you too. He can't believe it. You're asking too. No, the answer is no. I will not turn this place into some kind of macabre circus. He sighs. Let's go talk to the fridge clerk. Unfortunately, we're a little bit late for that. I mean, now I'm trying to go in there on official police business. Maybe we can knock louder, but I'd be shocked if there was actually anybody inside there. That said, there's probably not anyone inside there, means that maybe we could just, like, let ourselves in and use the fridge. Probably locked. I bet I can get around that, though. Can we please load the graphics? There we go. I thought this problem had gone yesterday, but apparently not. I'm just saying, it's very important, so maybe we could bend the rules just this once. There was no back way in or anything. We're not going to be able to get in from the roof. Yeah, I think we're just out of luck on this. It is a bad time of night for us to be having the problem that we're having right now. Well, shoot, that's going to make it real hard for me to steal these boots. I suppose what we could do is put one of these skill points into... put the remaining skill point into perception rather than empathy and try this again. It is a white check. Every hour he looks less like a creature and more like a pile of intestines. I mean, increasing our perception is not going to give us a very good chance at the check. It's going to be quite low. And do we have anything else that's locked by perception? We don't, right? Yeah. I don't know why this one is, like, weirdly invisible. We have this check available again, which I guess we can go for, but it's not really directly relevant at the moment. Yeah, we could try it. I really want to use this to boost our empathy and reset those lost empathy checks, though. Do we have any, like, equipment that we could... Hold on, let me bail on this. Do we have an option of boosting our perception at all via equipment? I don't think so. No, we do not. My authority is effectively 0. I'm realizing that we could put this shirt on without really any downsides. Why is my authority reduced? I don't have the clipboard in my hand, do I? I mean, like, we have it on us, but I thought it would only give us the stats if we were... Yeah, we're not currently getting an empathy bonus, so we are not getting the stats from this. So where's my authority penalty coming from? Oh, both of my current, or 2 of my currently running thoughts have empathy authority penalties on them. Yep, they sure do. Well, you know, probably that'll go away. But that does mean we get to wear a 6 shirt. This does not help with this problem. It's just a thing that's true. Well... You know what? While we're here, I'm going to go up on the roof, and there was that thing that it seemed like we had missed before. We may as well check it out. Maybe we could tell... We could try to tell Kim that maybe he better just go to bed. But if I try to steal the boots from the body, and then we have to bag it up, like, he's definitely going to notice that the boots are gone. Maybe I could bag it up while he's asleep without him? I also care about, like, figuring out what went wrong, obviously, with the investigation part. But mostly I'm concerned with getting to steal those boots before we put it in the bag. Yeah, I totally did not notice that this debris up here was interactable. What is up with all this? A little bit of pocket change. A little bit more pocket change. Okay. Well, that was probably worth running up here for. It's an amount of money that'll buy you, like, a pretty cool shirt. Hold on a second. Come back over here, too. I think I just must not have been holding tab while we were up here on the roof before. I thought I had, though, because, like, we noticed that the bucket was interactable and stuff. Still need to try to figure out how to get up on the roof of the Whirling. There's that weird elevator situation. Sorry, I want to go this way. We might just be out of luck with these boots. Maybe it's for the best we just package the dude up. I mean, I feel like I'm missing an important clue, and I'm worried that we won't ever get the whole straight story without that important clue. Maybe this would be a good time, actually, to talk to Kim about the case. If we get Kim to describe to us what is known, maybe I can, like, get my memory jogged a little bit, and if I can get my memory jogged, we might be able to reset the check for free and take it again with a bonus. Alright, there we go. Get it, Alright, hey Kim.
Yes?
Tell me about the case. What do you want to know? I mean, literally anything about it. I cannot remember a single thing. Ah, yes, the case brief you missed. Now I remember. He opens his notes. Brief, yes, that sounds good. 3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling in Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days and no one had come to investigate. During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There's an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach this death as part of this dispute. So the caller did not identify him. This seems like a silly question. Why didn't we know anything about the caller? Well, they didn't identify themselves in any way. Tone was muffled using a device of some sort. That's pretty weird. The desk could not identify the caller's age nor sex. Why hide themselves? Well, there's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as union matters. The dock workers' union is the de facto police in Martinez. Now, it appears they've started executing, too. Cannot allow that. I know what the RCM is. Hey, let me just make this perfectly clear. How do I do my job? No, okay, yep, I get it. Just to be clear, we are police officers. It's our job to find the killer. That's the case. Uncover and arrest the killer. Would you say that this is a mysterious case? The lieutenant considers your question a moment, before answering, no, it's not a particularly mysterious case. Why not? It seems pretty mysterious to me. The lieutenant shrugs. The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that. Personally, I think labor disputes are very mysterious. Okay, so the case probably isn't mysterious, but could it be sexy? There was some interest in this case at my station, but not for the reasons you have in mind. You seem to wish there was. Yeah, okay, but are you sure there's not some kind of sex angle we should be considering? Good point. Martinez is famed for its occult sex murder rights. We'll get on it immediately. The weary tone is the surest indicator that the lieutenant is being sarcastic. Wow, really? That's mega sexy. Listen, it doesn't have to be murder. It can just be sex. There's a dead body, man. You're being sarcastic, aren't you? Extremely. It can still be an otherworldly sex mystery in your head, with a dark twist even. He's basically challenging you to sex it up with some lurid twist. Don't get right into it, sit on a bit, but then hit him with it. If we're from different precincts, why are we on the same case? That's actually a good question. I'm afraid you and I are pawns in a, he considers the phrasing, a pissing competition. His disdain is clear. This man would not use such an expression otherwise. What do you mean? You don't know? His eyes narrowed. His eyes narrow. I assumed you were in on it. Buddy, you know what I'm in on is retrograde amnesia. Better still than an imbecilic cop-off. Cop-off? It's just stupidity. The lieutenant shakes his head. For real, dude, you need to tell me what's going on. What kind of stupidity? The cop kind? That's one of the most dangerous kinds. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbor, yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street gang mentality. So we've let the Union make a mockery of law enforcement here, and now it's come to its natural conclusion. Ah, so this is a struggle over who runs Martinez. Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to police Martinez than who has to. It's an orphan district, in other words. I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But, he leans in, I assure you, I am not their finest or toughest with 102 cases solved. What I am is least interested in a pissing competition. So he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness, or on the contrary. So you volunteered to spoil it. Yes, I'm an unrepentant spoilsport. The lieutenant appears pleased with this. Well, you know what? He knows who he is. I wonder what this says about me, that I was sent by my station. He raises an eyebrow, thinking it best to let you make the next move. Yeah, that's smart. There can only be one conclusion. I am the finest, a case-solving machine sent to outperform you in every way imaginable. I mean, I have to say, our stats do seem to mesh with this idea. I must be an augury, an apocalyptic omen sent by my people. Can you guess my message? I think this is very in character. No. There will be a bloodletting of unimaginable proportions. Unimaginable. Oh, no, it's very imaginable. We fail to place responsibility for the hanging. The harbor company see the situation is out of control, so they bring in the private military, maybe a gunship. The Union responds in strength, automatic fire. Local law enforcement solving one little homicide decides nothing. Not solving it could have real and calculable effects, though. Things can always get worse. Matter of fact, augury, we should move. So hey, what's so special about Martinez, anyway? Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the interchange doesn't exist. Okay, enough of this competition talk. Tell me something else. Alright. Secret task complete, the pissing competition. So there's a formidable logic attempt here. Haha, +1 for sorry cop. Roy mentioned suicide. Sylvie made a joke about suicide. Hey, why did the 41st send me? Let's think about this for a moment. Look at you. It's because you're a failure. They sent you to slight Precinct 57. What? No, that can't be right. My stats. Just think about it for a second. You're a raging alcoholic who showed up 3 days late wearing piss-stained disco garb. You weren't sent here to win. Hold on. The evidence does not suggest that I showed up 3 days late. It suggests that I got here when I was sent, and then I drank and ruined shit for 3 days. It's different. Kim, what if my precinct sent me on this case because I'm a fuck-up? Like, as a joke? I've considered it. His voice is somber. Do I beg him for reassurance? No, I think, like, Kim has behaved nothing but helpfully toward us. I think I can trust him. Let's just, like, shoot straight with him. Oh, it's true. It would be immensely ugly of them, not to mention unprofessional, but I also think it's somewhat unlikely. Why's that? Well, I checked the records. This jurisdiction dispute, who polices Martinez, reaches back to the 30s. It's as old as my station. And all this time, we can't decide who gets it. I think, yes, both stations would prefer a win. I mean, do you really see me as a safe bet? Safe? No. But you're old, you've made it this far. Something has brought you through. We've only just started working together, so I don't know what it is yet, but it's there. So, no, I don't think they sent you as a joke, and even if they did, they're in for a surprise. Look at Kim, just trying to be the nicest guy on Earth. I do think it's weird, given how much, how good the dialogue has generally been about working in things that we've already figured out. It's weird that the subject of what appears to be a pretty competent solve record didn't come up in any of that. We could attempt to convince Kim there's a sexy dark mystery twist in the case. Yo, I would love it if we could pull this off. I'm gonna try it. Show me those sixes. Ah, well, I mean, that's A6. I should have been more specific. Only banal things strike you. At the core, you're a very banal person with a very small soul. That is not correct. Oh, Jesus. One you should be ashamed of. It's no wonder the soft one doesn't want it back. It was right to abandon you. Okay, my insides, calm down a little bit. Should we hit this thing? Here's the thing. I'm wondering if it might not be the case that magnesium-based lifeform might give us some bonuses when we use morale boosters. So I sort of want to wait on that. But I'm also really worried that we'll take one more point of morale damage and end up just giving up on the case and drinking ourselves to death. I suppose we should hit the thing just in case. Also, I was not done talking to Kim. Hold on a second here. Okay. Hey, Kim, I want to talk about you. Me? Yeah, you. Well, I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation. Well, we'll work better if we have more rapport. That's a fair point. All right, for the good of the investigation, what do you want to know? You're wearing glasses. That's correct. We failed a physical instrument check, so we do get notified of failure sometimes. You feel a slight urge to put the lieutenant down for this, but you can't quite muster enough testosterone. Oh yeah, poor me, not burning this guy for the fact that he wears glasses. No, I don't. Glasses are cool, I guess. Are they? They're mostly just cumbersome. Tell me a secret about yourself. The lieutenant narrows a single eyebrow. How do you even do that? No. Ask again. Your brain sends the signal to your lips, but they refuse the order. Something is paralyzing them. You're pretty sure it has to do with the lieutenant's eyebrow. It's like you're locked down. What's happening to me? Something the matter, detective? What's going on? It's like you're a puppet in his hands. Okay, well, I guess there's nothing I can do. Kim has superpowers. The lieutenant relaxes his eyebrow, and you seem to regain control of yourself. Do you ever, just talk with yourself? What do you mean? You know, when you're thinking. Do you ever have conversations with, your brain? I have no idea what you're talking about. The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary. But this isn't an old-school case. Oh, I get it. You're one of those old-school detectives. I think I might be older than he is. So you're saying your brain, never just chimes in with advice or warnings or anything? I can't say that it does, no. When I need to think, I just use my notebook. The lieutenant produces his small blue notebook and idly thumbs through a few pages. That's where his conversations with himself take place. Well, we all have our different media. His is written. You're super lucid, yet psychedelic. You don't need office supplies to connect to your nervous system. You're special. That's true, I am definitely special. Hey, you don't look like other people around here. That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul. So was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's not an interesting topic. I'm guessing that they don't want us to pronounce that Seoul, because if they did, they would spell it the same way as the well-known city of Seoul, right? Like the fact that they spelled it differently is to get us to note that it's not the same. What is that? Where is that place? It's part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity and a geographic division. I told you it wouldn't be interesting. Hey, you would be surprised what I find interesting. It is a protectionist, isolationist, peninsulary state west of the Icelandic Isola. Actually, it's quite interesting. Some would even say mysterious. Oh, you know how I feel about mysterious things. You're only making it sound uninteresting. I still want to know more about it, but do a better job of being interesting. You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents. I've never even been there. He seems almost proud of these things. I'm a regular Revacholier. Alright, well, that's it for now, then. Good, let's change the subject. Listen, man, I think you should know. I'm pretty sure I've made this clear to you, but just in case, I cannot remember anything. No response. He just arches his brow. He's having trouble processing it, believing it, even. I feel like I must repeat this. I don't remember anything. Now, I think we've made the point. There's no reason to waste more time on this. I would very much like to pass this check, but it seems like we might be out of luck for the moment. We could... You know what I maybe should have done, actually, is stopped and taken the... what's it called? Yeah, the Pyrrholodon, before attempting that. I wonder, if we were to take it now, would it unlock the check? Probably not. My guess is probably not. I almost want to spend our skill point on Inland Empire and then hit this and then try it again. If we unlock empathy and we take this stuff, I bet there's a pretty good chance we could get that truck driver check. We probably won't be able to pass the one with Kuno, but I think that's got to be our plan for the skill point. We just can't use it that way yet, I assume, because the truck driver's probably not there. I guess I should maybe go and ascertain. We should also check in one more time on Gart and see if there is any kind of check we could attempt with him to get the freezer thing to work. Yeah, truck drivers run off to, I don't know, sleep or something like a coward. Let's go check in on Gart one more time. If there's a check that we could attempt, we probably are best off attempting it, and then if we fail it, unlocking it and attempting it again. Maybe that's a good idea. But it did not seem like there was a check available. Okay, we want to put a corpse into his fridge. Correct him. How did you know? Because you haven't taken it away yet, and it must be stinking hard about now. Well, you're not putting it here, rest assured. I'm not even going to ask why. You're just going to say something mean. This is a culinary establishment, not a morgue. You don't have to ask me why you can't store a dead body in my kitchen. Well, it would only be for a... Yeah, and then he repeats that. Okay, so yeah, there's no version of that. We would have to ask the fridge clerk, but we can't do that until morning, and by morning, I mean, is the body actually going to get any worse than it is now? I don't know. I guess this is a thing that we can spend some time considering, because, of course, we are out of time for today. That's going to be it for us for now. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope everybody else is finding this as intriguing as I am. This game is has dug into me a little bit. So come back next time, Monday, to see if we can figure out a way to deal with this body and also steal its very last belonging in the world before it turns into just a pile of weird mush. And we'll see you then.